How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Windy City Digits, where we talk all things Chicago sports. Vic and Carl here with you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for those of you that subscribed. If you haven't had a chance yet, subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell to get notified when we do uploads, and also hit the like button to let us know. And we also want to see your comments. The people who have been commenting so far have been great. We love interacting with you guys and just kind of having a back and forth. So, all right. So, Vic, the big news this week, or coming out of this weekend, was that on the heels of the hiring of Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus as the head coach, now we have an offensive coordinator.
You got it, man. Luke Getsy. We're stealing from the Packers. Most of our guys were stealing from the Colts, but we have Luke Getsy from the Packers. I'm going to share my screen with everybody to show you a little bit about Luke Getsy. So Luke Getsy actually was a quarterback for the University of Akron, and he had about 24 different school records for the University of Akron. Got undrafted. He was signed for the 49ers and was just on the practice squad. And then from there on, man, he's been a coach for a lot of different colleges. And then, of course, lately he went to the Packers. He was an offensive coordinator for Mississippi State. Don't know what their offense looked like. And then he was rehired by the Packers. And now he's on the Bears. So what do you think about that?
So the part where we came back to the Packers is when LaFleur got hired. And from what I've read online so far and been able to gather here, is that he came back mainly because LaFleur and Rodgers didn't hit it off. And he brought Getsy back because Getsy had a good relationship with Rodgers, and he was able to kind of smooth things out. So you know he's going to be able to establish a good relationship with Justin Fields, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And you know the offense isn't going to be anything like we had under Nagy. Like, it's going to allow Justin to basically utilize his skills. You know, we're going to utilize his legs. We're going to be able to get him on rollouts, get him to throw the ball deep. Hopefully a lot of run-pass option plays that we'll be able to get. But, yeah, look, I think that the way they're building this team is really good so far. And we, you and I texted back and forth about this. The good thing is that we're getting all these coaches before some of these other teams even hire a head coach, and they don't have a chance to hire some of these people they want for coordinators or position coaches.
You're right, man. We're digging them out from several different spots. And I know that they're looking at the Raiders special teams coach too to come out here. But we're getting some really good reviews from national analysts about our hiring. So what I like is the two GMs, the GM and the assistant GM, Cunningham, are both offensive line
former players
before they even former players. So I know that they'll be looking at protection for Fields. So between that and the new call playing from Getsy, hopefully we'll be creative.
Yeah, and depending on what happens in Green Bay, right? I mean, now this whole division is wide open now, right? Hopefully that mystique.
But not creative like
not
creative like Shoop. Remember Shoop?
Shoop and Tressman and some of these other guys.
And then we had Martz. He had a really good year one year, but some of their creativity became like, I know exactly what he's going to do.
So now the next big hire would be the defensive coordinator. That's the last, that's the next major position. But as far as from the offensive side, it looks like it's filling in pretty nice. I know one name that's been thrown out there is Joe Brady to fill, I think, a quarterback's position or another position within the offensive coaching staff. Joe Brady, who basically coached Joe Burrow at LSU and led them to a national championship. He's very highly touted as far as a passing offense, very creative. So if they're able to get him and add him onto the staff, I think that would be a huge get.
Yeah, and they're looking at the safeties coach from the Colts, Alan Williams, for their defensive coordinator position, who once was a defensive coordinator for the Vikings.
Okay. So, look, we talked about this earlier. Like, our hope is that Eberflus is definitely hiring more of the quality guys. I understand he's got a relationship with each of these guys that he's hiring. But
that's the only thing I'm worried about.
The only thing we're hoping is that, it's not only that you have a good working relationship with them, but that you're bringing in quality guys that are going to be able to make an impact on this team. So if everything is falling in line with the way he wants it, hopefully all this will just kind of, all come into focus here pretty quickly.
Yeah. So Williams was the defensive coordinator for the Vikings for just a year, actually.
Was it?
I don't know how they did 2012. I'm gonna look it up actually.
2012.
So can you imagine? You talking about you glossed over Burrow, but the Bears actually beat
Cincinnati,
the Bengals this year. Yeah. That was Justin Fields' first game.
This will kind of further the fuel, right, about why we didn't hire an offensive head coach, right? I mean, the Bengals hired, their coach away from the Rams, but he was an offensive guy, and he's developed Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is going to be a star in this league for a long time to come. But basically, it wasn't like forcing him to say, look, you're going to play this style. No, they kind of tailor the offense around Joe Burrow. That's kind of what I'm hoping here with the Bears, with Getsy. If he's able to tailor an offense around Justin Field and his strength and let him go out there and make the plays and let him do his thing, as opposed to coming in here and saying, like Nagy did, saying, no, this is the offense that's going to work.
Correct.
Right?
I agree. So I'm looking up the Vikings 2012 season. They were 10-6. Leslie Frazier was the coach. Strength of schedule was,
I don't know,
was pretty high.
They might have made the playoffs.
They were ranked 14th out of 32 defenses.
Yeah, that's hard to see. Like, okay, just looking at the numbers, that's kind of deceiving, right? Because you have no idea what kind of, without doing more research, exactly who was on that defense, what kind of players they had.
Correct.
Who they were going up against that year. I mean, obviously they went against Rodgers twice that year and Stafford twice that year. And whoever on earth we had at quarterback in 2012, who knows who that would have been. So
they lost to the Bears and won to the Bears.
So hopefully this week, they'll be able to nail down the defensive coordinator spot and then fill in the rest of the spots, because a lot of these teams still don't even have head coaches yet. So the sooner we can hit the ground running with these guys, I think we're better off. But so far, I mean, what are your thoughts on Poles so far? It's like he's only been on the job like 3-4 days, but what do you think so far?
I'm seriously shocked how many people he's hired in such a short period of time. I would think that would go to show you that the relationship that he has with these people are really good for them to make a decision that quickly.
Yeah, and I guess the other part is like McCaskey is actually giving him this much control for being such a young guy and never been a general manager before, which is a good sign, Yeah,
and I think Cunningham being an assistant with him, which they've never had in the organization, hopefully can only help them, find the talent that they need to make this roster competitive.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. So everyone
hey, before we
go ahead.
Yeah, before you go, because we haven't talked about Sox and Cubs, with the collective bargaining agreement, they're only going to have like probably 2 weeks to get free agents at best. So what do you think? What do you think the Sox are going to do? Sox guru.
I think the Sox are going to try to get one more starter, and I think they're going to try. They don't really need anything in the field, to be honest. They're probably going to go after pitching. So they may try to get one more starter. They've already signed one reliever away from the Astros before the lockout. But we've got a closer already. We've got two closers, as a matter of fact. And I don't think Hendricks is going anywhere. right? So we've got some trade capital there. Like we've got some one major asset we could trade. It's just a matter of who's going to be able to work it out with us. Who they're able to work out. But it wouldn't surprise me if they pulled off a major trade. But I think they're going to go for pitching. I can't see them going after any bats. Maybe some defensive replacements. What about the Cubs?
The Cubs they have so many holes. I would say that I think they want to shore up and try and get maybe one more pitcher to be competitive, like their fourth, fifth starter. But their pitching actually looks pretty good now that they picked up Stroman, and they picked up the lefty from the Reds. I'm kind of escaping me. They got lucky with that one. So I don't know. I think the off season for baseball is going to be kind of like a crazy time once the collective bargaining agreement comes down. It might be just like the NBA was for those 3 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks, remember, it was crazy with the Bulls signing.
I guess the other thing I worry about also, because, we went through a shortened season with COVID and the players didn't have enough time for a spring training or a training session. And you saw a lot of guys get hurt, especially pitchers. I'm hoping that isn't the case here. Pitchers and catchers normally are starting to report now. At least to camp and at least trying to get their work in. I don't think most formal training camps don't open until like mid-February, usually, mid to late February. Yep. So I'm hoping that in the next 2 weeks that they kind of get their act together. I thought that, they've kind of done a good job of recovering on the baseball side, especially when teams like the White Sox are in it and you got a lot of fans in a major market. I think if they screw this up and they're delayed the season or whatever the case is, like it'll recover, but it'll definitely hurt.
It'll recover easily. It always does.
But I mean,
the
good thing is like so far the NFL season is amazing. This is going to take us a couple more weeks, so they won't be in the spotlight. NBA season's going pretty well. So again, that'll take them out of the headlines, but hopefully they'll be able to get this taken care of soon.
You got it.
So,
man.
All right. So everyone, thanks again for tuning in. We do appreciate everyone checking out the channel. We do want to hear your comments below. So this week, if you have any comments about the Bears and their coaches and how things are going so far since they've hired Ryan Poles as general manager, maybe some other trades or some other coaches you'd like to see come in, maybe who you want to see as the defensive coordinator. And then for the baseball fans out there, what are your thoughts about the Cubs and the Sox coming up this season? We'd love to hear your comments down below. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.